Prism is the fourth studio album by American singer-songwriter Katy Perry, released by Capitol Records on October 18, 2013. While the album was initially planned to be darker than her previous material, Prism ultimately became a prominently dance-inspired record. The singer worked with several past collaborators, while enlisting new producers and guest vocals. Much of Prism revolves around the themes of living in the present, relationships, and self-empowerment. Critical response to the album was generally mixed to positive. Many of the critics highlighted its maturity and vulnerability, while some journalists considered Prism a disappointment compared to her previous material, describing its songs as formulaic and forgettable. It debuted atop of the US Billboard 200, with Perry's best opening week to date. The album also peaked at #1 in Australia, Canada, Ireland, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom. Prism became Perry's fastest-selling album, the second best-selling album in Australia in 2013, and the second best-selling album released by a woman in the United States in 2013. The International Federation of the Phonographic Industry reported that Prism was the sixth best-selling album in the world in 2013. The release of the album was preceded by the release of two singles. Raw was released on August 10, 2013 as the album's lead single. It became a commercial success and the singer's eighth non-consecutive single to top the Billboard Hot 100. Unconditionally debuted on October 16, 2013 as the record's second single and was a moderate commercial success worldwide. In between the release of these two tracks were the releases of promotional singles Dark Horse on September 17 and Walking on Air on September 30, 2013. Dark Horse was released as the album's third single 3 months later on December 17, 2013 and became Perry's ninth single to top the Billboard Hot 100. Birthday was released as the fourth single on April 21, 2014 and became her 15th top 20 in United States. Background. After ending her California Dreams tour, Perry stated that she intended to live a little before recording any new material that was worth listening to. When ex-husband Russell Brand left her on December 30, 2011, she felt devastated and contemplated suicide. Perry revealed to Vogue that she planned to record a darker album than her previous records. She stated, "It was inevitable, after what I went through. If I had a time machine and could go back in time, I would. But I can't, so, you'll discover another part of me." To Interview, she admitted she aspired to include a more acoustic vibe to the record. Perry also said that her music would be getting real fucking dark, however, she stated that her fans would be able to relate to it. "I imagine that maybe my next record would be a little bit more of an artistic venture," she said. "Not that I'm going to self-sabotage either and be like, I'm going to make a crazy record that nobody really understands." That fall, she later told Billboard about her plans for the album, saying she already envisioned several aspects of it. Perry told the magazine that she already had songs and ideas, and knew the type of record she would make next. She also said that although she had not started recording yet, she already knew how the artwork, coloring and tone of the album would turn out. Perry further detailed, "I have to let the music take shape first. I even know what type of tour I'm doing next. I'll be very pleased if the vision I have in my head becomes a reality. But I have to honor the music." Recording. The development of Prism started when Perry was embarking on the California Dreams tour. She began with a process she deemed slow cooking, which consisted of recording random fragments of ideas into her mobile phone's dictaphone application. A member of Direct Management Group, Noka Wang, then transcribed the audio files, which he inserted into what Perry described as a treasure chest. Such object was consulted by Perry later on during the album's recording sessions. While Perry started recording the album officially in November 2012, accompanied by Greg Wells and Greg Kurstin, she noted she was still in a dark place, and that she had not let the light in. The sessions began again in March 2013, following a trip to Africa which Perry credited as having put her priorities in perspective, thus leading her to do more work on herself. Perry also viewed a video made by Eckhart Tolle, which discusses loss. She commented, when you lose something, all your foundations crumble euro, but that also leaves a big hole that's open for something great to come through. After feeling prepared to record again, she reunited with her team from Teenage Drama Dr. Luke, Bonnie McKee, and Circuiter in Perry's hometown of Santa Barbara, California, where they spent a month recording at Playback Recording Studio among others. After those sessions, she went to Stockholm, where she worked with Scandinavian record producer Max Martin, to do what Perry called putting the ice on the cake. She also recruited other collaborators, such as Norwegian team Stargate, Bloodshy, Benny Blanco, John Nather-Brook and Sayar Furler. By April 2013, recording for the album was halfway complete, and Perry revealed to ASCAP how was working with such collaborators. She affirmed that Wells allowed her to vomit words. With Martin, she picked the melodies of the songs. Luke mostly helmed the production and she worked with topline and melody. Perry described writing sessions with McKee as emotional abuse, adding that they argue over the best lyric, as if they were fighting in a boxing ring. McKee, who wrote 4 songs for Prism, spoke with MTV on the effort, describing it as a little bit more grown-up and interesting. Composition: the album opens with Raw, a mid-tempo synth-driven power pop track. Musically, it contains elements of arena rock and glam rock, while lyrically it is an empowerment anthem. Comparisons were established between Raw and Brave by Sarah Bareilles. Legendary Lovers, a Bhangra-based song, deals with the ideas of karma and infinity. Birthday was described by Perry as her own attempt at writing something Mariah Carey would have put on her first record. Musically, it is a fluffy pop song. Walking on Air, the album's second promotional single, is an early 1990s-inspired deep house Eurodance disco song, inspired heavily by CECE Peniston and Crystal Waters. It was produced by Klaas Lund and Max Martin. Unconditionally, Perry's personal favorite song on the album and second official single, is a soaring power ballad with an epic chorus. Jason Lipschutz from Billboard noted that the song includes a woodblock percussion as well as a dramatic bass line, and deemed it the album's most mature offering. Furthermore, he called it an ode to love that looks past all flaws, and stated that the song acts as a compellingly grounded predicate to the title track from Teenage Dream. Perry herself described the song as a song about unconditional love that could come in all forms, including those from relationships, from parent to child, and from sibling to sibling. Dark Horse is a song with ample influences of trap, grime, hip-hop, and southern rap techno mashup genres. This Is How We Do, produced by Max Martin and Klaas Lund, was described as being the possible song of summer for 2014. Shirley Halperin from The Hollywood Reporter described This Is How We Do as a sunny 80s throwback, while Edna Gunderson from USA Today described it as a buoyant pop blast with hip-hop underpinnings, and praised the song's recurring refrain. James Montgomery from MTV News called the song a cocksure, club-ready banger. With Double Rainbow, produced by Greg Custin and co-writer Sayar Furler, Perry was allowed to dump pent-up emotions, and get things off her chest. The song was described as a massive ballad. Lipschutz deemed it as a breathy love track with a powerful chorus that explodes upon impact with lyrics that include one man's trash is another man's treasure / so if it's up to me, I'm gonna keep you forever. He added that Kirsten brings the pop sensibility he's flashed with artists like Kelly Clarkson and P.N.K., while Sayar's presence connects this sleek, shimmering pop track to her David Guetta collaboration Titanium. Elijah Sarkeesian felt that some of Katy's finest vocals of the album are on this song. Perry described Love Me as a song about loving yourself the way you want to be loved. Gunderson called it irresistibly catchy and energetic. The song was produced by Bloodshy. Sarkeesian called it an interesting mix. The lyrics are dark, but the music is very dance-centric. At the very least, it'll do well in clubs. Montgomery stated that Love Me and International Smile both seem destined for the dance floors. The latter was inspired by Perry's friend Mia Moretti, and was compared to the songs on Perry's previous album. Lipschutz called it a straightforward pop rock offering, and described its guitar hook as kicky, adding that the song also includes a melting Daft Punk-esque vocoder breakdown. Hal Perry stated that in the song, Perry sings the hooky line, "Please fasten your seatbelts and make sure your champagne glasses are empty." Hal Perry described this moment, and Ghost as mid-tempo ballads that are closest in DNA to Perry's previous smashes. Perry stated that she was inspired to write this moment after she heard the audiobook of The Power of Now. The song's lyrics talk about living in the present, with Perry adding a romantic spin to it. Gary Trust described Ghost as a mesmerizing ballad, while Gunderson described it as powerful, dark, and haunting. Lipschutz felt that Ghost, and By the Grace of God contain the album's most somber moments. While talking about each Prism track, Perry mentioned that By the Grace of God was the first song she wrote and recorded for the album back in November 2012 while she was in her dark phase. Jody Rosen from Vulture described bonus track Spiritual as an inspirational song. Kevin Fallon of the Daily Beast described It Takes Two as a sweeping ballad, which allowed Perry to show off a full-throated belt that so many of her more bubbly tracks mask. In Choose Your Battles, Perry pounds her chest and spews venom at the man she cannot understand. Releasing promotion. On July 29, 2013, a golden truck driving in Los Angeles revealed the album's title as Prism and that it would be released on October 22, 2013. On August 9, the truck was hit by a drunk driver in Pennsylvania, but none of the involved in the accident were injured. On August 20, Pepsi revealed a partnership with Perry, in which fans were given the opportunity to unlock song titles, lyrics, and snippets from Prism by tweeting the hashtag #CoultIKnow. Additionally, Pepsi provided previews of the songs Dark Horse and Walking on Air, and fans could vote for which song they wanted to have an early release on iTunes. The former song was declared the winner and was released onto iTunes on September 17, 2013. 3 listening parties for Prism were hosted. On September 5, 2013, one was hosted in New York, open exclusively to an audience of 100 industry insiders and journalists, where 12 tracks were played. A second Prism listening party took place the next day in Atlanta, while a third took place September 12 in Los Angeles at the Hammer Museum. The release of 2 promotional singles via iTunes preceded the release of Prism. Dark Horse, which features vocals from Juicy J, was released on September 17 and debuted at number 17 on the US Billboard Hot 100, and inside the top 10 at number 10 on the New Zealand Singles Chart. Perry first performed Dark Horse 3 days later at the iHeartRadio Music Festival. Walking on Air was released as the second promotional single on September 30. The album became available for streaming online on October 17, 2013. It was released in Ireland, Italy, Slovakia, and Slovenia the next day. It was released worldwide on October 22, 2013. Its album cover, unveiled in a Jumbotron during Good Morning America on September 6, 2013, was shot by American photographer Ryan McGinley. For the deluxe edition, 300,000 copies with an iridescent digipack package were printed, and came with the album's logo printed onto seed paper. Perry began the Prismatic World Tour on May 7, 2014, at the Odyssey Arena in Belfast, Northern Ireland with Icona Pop as opening act. The first leg of the tour will also feature performances in Scotland and England that month. The second leg was announced on January 15, 2014, consisting of concerts in Canada, Mexico, and the United States. The leg will run from June to October 2014. Capital cities: Casey Musgraves, duo Tegan and Sarah, and Becky G will open for Perry in different markets. The third leg of the tour will take place in Oceania from November to December 2014, meanwhile the fourth will run from February to March 2015 through Europe. Singles: Raw was serviced to mainstream radio stations on August 10, 2013 as the album's lead single, and its digital release followed 2 days later. It received mixed to positive commentary from music critics, who commended its easy and poppy beat, while some were ambivalent towards its cliché Copyright D lyrics. Commercially, it was a success, topping the Billboard Hot 100 charts in Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom. The song was nominated for the Song of the Year and the Best Pop Solo Performance Awards at the 56th Grammy Awards. Unconditionally was released as the album's second single on October 16, 2013. It received generally favorable reviews from critics, who praised it for being soaring and effortless. A lyric video for the song was released 2 days after its debut, and its official music video was released on November 19, 2013. To promote the single, Perry has performed on various occasions, including a geisha-themed performance of it on the American Music Awards of 2013, which attracted negative press, controversy and accusations of racism. Unconditionally has peaked at number 14 on the Billboard Hot 100 and has charted moderately worldwide, reaching the top 30 in the single charts of Canada and Germany and the top 10 in Italy. Dark Horse was released on December 17, 2013 as the album's third official single. It had previously been released as the album's first promotional single exactly 3 months prior to its single release. The following week, the song leapt to number 4 due to topping the Hot Digital Songs, selling 243,000 copies. With Dark Horse topping the Hot Digital Songs chart, it became Perry's 10th digital number 1 single. The song topped the Billboard Hot 100 chart on January 29, 2014, becoming Perry's 9th number 1 single in the United States. On April 3, 2014, Birthday was announced as the album's 4th official single. It debuted at number 91 on the Billboard Hot 100 and impacted top 40/mainstream radio in the US on April 21, 2014. This single has peaked at number 17 on the Billboard Hot 100 and become her 15th top 20 in United States, but it was their third single that did not reach the top 10 of the chart. Critical reception: upon release, Prism received mixed reviews from music critics. According to Metacritic, the album received an average score of 61/100 based on 26 reviews. John Dolan from Rolling Stone gave the album 3 out of 5 stars, writing that Perry and her longtime collaborators Dr. Luke and Max Martin often go for a darker, moodier intimacy a la high-end Swedish divas Robin and Like Lee. Perry has always done a great job of letting us know she's in on the joke of pop stardom. Sadly, she doesn't always bring that same sense of humor and self-awareness to the joke of pop star introspection. The album's raft of Ripe Lotus ballads is larded with a Lornesian poesy she can't pull off. Nick Catucci from Entertainment Weekly gave the album a B+ and stated that Katy's superpower, now more than ever, is minting songs so relatable that their insights quickly scale up to inspirational. Now she grasps that she's making the mainstream, not just swimming in it. Helen Brown from the Daily Telegraph gave the album 5 out of 5 stars, stating Perry sounds like a woman, and an artist, who's finally found herself, and praised the vulnerability of the album. Stephen Thomas Elewine from AllMusic, Alexis Petridis from The Guardian, and Sal Cinquemani from Slant magazine all also gave the album 3 out of 5 stars. Elewine dubbed Prism a tighter, cleaner record than its predecessors. Petridis called it Katy Perry's most spiritual album to date. Mesfin Fekhad from ABC News deemed the tracks likable, but felt the album lacked some of the fiery fierceness and excitement that dominated Teenage Dream. James Reed from the Boston Globe felt Perry always seemed like the pop star who knows precisely what she does best, and called the album an unabashedly fun listen. Chris Bosman from Consequence of Sound gave the album 3.5 out of 5 stars, calling Perry a champion of choruses. Greg Kot from Chicago Tribune gave the album 2 out of 4 stars, commenting though not exactly spiritual, Prism does come off as a more serious if no less formulaic album than its predecessor. Mara Eakin from the AV Club gave the album a C+, commenting a lot of Prism is simply forgettable, though praised the tracks Raw, Birthday, and This Is How We Do. Rob Havila from Spin gave the album a 5/10 rating, and felt some of the material was not all that desirable. Eliza Gardner from USA Today gave the album a 3/4 rating and found the album to be genuine and endearing. Trent Wobb from The Verge gave an overall 4/4 rating and praised Perry's ability to wrapping hyper-specific emotions into a new format that everyone can relate to. He particularly praised the tracks International Smile and Birthday, declaring the chorus of Birthday to be fucking perfect. Jody Rosen from Vulture was disappointed with every track on the album except for Raw. Randall Roberts of Los Angeles Times gave the album a 3/4 rating, calling it a shimmering, dynamic, heavy-duty modern pop album. Commercial performance. Prism made its official debut in Ireland, where it charted atop the charts. In the United States, the album opened at the top spot on the US Billboard 200, becoming her second consecutive #1 album in the country. The album sold 286,000 copies in its first week. Prism acquired the largest first-week sum by a female artist for 2013, surpassing Miley Cyrus' Bangerts. However, this feat was surpassed by Bianca Copywriter's self-titled fifth album, Bianca Copyright, released in December 2013. At the time of its release, Prism had the fourth highest first-week sales of the year for a pop record, trailing behind Daft Punk's May 2013 album Random Access Memories, which sold 339,000 copies, and Justin Timberlake's The 20/20 Experience, which debuted to 968,000 copies, and its follow-up The 20/20 Experience a Euro 2 of 2, which debuted to just 350,000 copies. The first week sales also marks Perry's highest weekly sales, with her previous album Teenage Dream selling 192,000 copies in its first week in August 2010. Prism has the highest first-week sales for a female pop artist since Madonna's 12th studio album, MDNA. Prism sold 92,000 copies during its second week of availability, falling to number 2 on the Billboard 200. This represented the smallest sales dip for a #1 album in the United States since the August 2013 release of The Civil Wars. Prism has spent 17 weeks so far in the top 10 on the chart. As of February 2014, the album has sold a total of 1.1 million copies in the United States. In June 2014, Billboard announced its mid-year top 20 best-selling albums, with Prism coming in at number 9 with sales of 453,000 in 2014 alone. Pharrell Williams and Perry were the only two people in to have an album and a single in the mid-year top 10 charts. In New Zealand, the album became Perry's second consecutive #1 album, and was certified gold by Recorded Music NZ, selling over 7,500 copies in its first week sales. Prism was certified platinum in Australia during its second week of release. The album has sold a total of 179,000 copies in Australia by December 2013. In Europe, the album was a moderate success. In Switzerland, the album debuted at 2, just behind James Blunt's Moon Landing, and was certified gold shortly after. In Austria, the album debuted at number 3 and was certified gold in its first week, achieving platinum certification a month later. In France, Prism debuted in the top 10, spending a dozen weeks in the top 40, and has sold over 90,000 copies according to SNEP. In the Netherlands, it debuted inside the top 10 and spent 7 weeks in the top 40, later rebounding back into the top 40 with the success of Dark Horse. In Denmark, the album became her highest charting album since One of the Boys, debuting at number 4. The album has sold 2.8 million copies worldwide by the end of December 2013 according to the International Federation of the Phonographic Industry. Track listing, credits adapted from the liner notes of Prism. Credits and personnel, the following people contributed to Prism. Charts, certifications, references.